In this video, we will cover creating schedules and filtering, sorting, and grouping schedule information. Schedules are a great way to report the information in your building model. To create a schedule, you can find the Schedules Quantities branch in the project browser, right-click that branch, and choose New Schedule Quantities. This opens the New Schedule dialog. To begin, you can select the category of elements that you want to create a schedule for. If you want to create a schedule containing multiple categories, select Multi-Category. For this example, we'll create a lighting fixture schedule. Select Lighting Fixtures, and then you can see the name automatically fills in to Lighting Fixture Schedule, but you can adjust the name as needed. Next, you can choose to schedule building components or schedule keys. Typically, you'll schedule building components, but in some instances you may need to schedule keys. These are great for space schedules. You can also choose the phase. For this example, we'll select New Construction, but if you had a phased project, you could schedule existing lighting fixtures, or if there were multiple phases of construction, you could choose one of those phases. In this case, we'll select New Construction and then click OK, and this opens the Schedule Properties dialog. The first thing you do when creating a schedule is add fields to the list of scheduled fields. And these are parameters. So in this case, we're selecting lighting fixture parameters. You could also expand the Select Available Fields From and choose Room, Space, or Project Information if you wanted to add parameters from one of those. With lighting fixtures selected, I'll begin adding parameters. I'll add the type mark, and you can click the Add Parameters button, or you can simply double-click the field. I'll add family and type, and then add voltage and number of poles. Just a quick note here as I'm adding these, if you were to see duplicate parameters in this list, it's probably because there are multiple shared parameters that are created with the same name. And so shared parameters can have the same name, and they're recognized by Revit by the GUID number, and so that's why you may have multiple parameters. Okay, once you have the scheduled fields list with all the parameters you want, you can go ahead and click OK and create the schedule. I'll touch on a few more things here first. You could select Include Elements and Links if you wanted to. Let's say you had a linked model with other lighting fixtures, you could include those by selecting this option. You could also add a calculated parameter. If you wanted to create a custom calculated value, you could do that here. And then you can also combine parameters. For example, if you wanted to add the voltage and number of poles in the same field, you could do that with a combined parameter. You can also control the order of the list if you need to, if they were not in the correct order. But I'll click OK and we'll go ahead and create the schedule. And you'll notice right off the bat we are scheduling every single light fixture. If you do not want to schedule every single one and you just want to do it by type, there's a way you can do that, and you'll need to go to the Sorting Grouping tab of the Schedule Properties dialog and deselect Itemize Every Instance, and then you can control how the schedule is sorted. So in this case, if we want to sort by just the type mark, I can choose Type Mark and then click OK. And now this schedule is sorted by the type mark values. And so you can see here that these have type marks, and then there's one that does not, and these are all the lighting fixtures that do not contain a type mark. You could continue to sort it by other parameters if you wanted to, and there are 4 options here. So 4 options to control your sorting. If you wanted to filter them, so let's say you wanted to filter out all the ones that do not contain a type mark, you could select type mark, and then you could choose has a value. And there are several ways to filter schedules. You could filter it by, say, if you wanted just the voltage to equal a certain value, you could do that. If you just wanted to schedule 120 volt lighting fixtures. In this case, we'll just do type mark has a value, and I'll click OK. And now all the lighting fixtures that do not have a type mark are removed from the schedule. So the filtering and sorting and grouping tabs of the Schedule Properties dialog provide you a lot of flexibility, and you can also do things like calculate totals if you wanted to do that. And so in this case, we don't have any parameters that we're calculating totals, but we could just get a total count. There are also formatting options. You can set a field to be horizontal or vertical, and then you can choose the horizontal alignment to help customize the formatting of your schedule. And then on the Appearance tab, you can customize the appearance and control the line styles of the grid lines or the outline. And then you can even choose whether or not to show title or show headers. Last thing I'll say about schedules. If you update information in a schedule, it will also update it for the model elements. So for example, if you update the manufacturer, that will update the manufacturer parameter for all of those light fixtures. So schedules are a great way to not only report information from your building model, but also control the information in your building model.